Good morning, everyone. Kalimera. Kalispera, Kalimera. Kalosorisate. It means welcome, for those of you that don't know. My name is James Reginald Coleman. I am the Deputy Director of Global Affairs and Protocol. I must tell you that I have the most wonderful job in the world because I get to welcome delegations such as yourselves, such as Mayor Doukas in the delegation today for a historic moment. For those of you that don't know, I'm originally from Haiti. So needless to say, this momentous occasion has double meanings for me because Haiti was the first country to recognize Greece's independence in the world. So I know you didn't come here to hear from me. So without any further ado, I would like to turn it over to someone that does not need any recognition whatsoever, Mayor Michel Wu.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for the honor of this very special visit. I'm so grateful to our local community and the leaders who have helped arrange this. Thank you to James and your entire team and your office, and most of all, thank you to Mayor Doukas and the entire delegation, our Consul General, and all of our dignitaries here today. We are always proud in Boston of the history that we have here. I know we count 250 years of American independence and then 400 years of Boston as a city, which is just a blink of an eye in terms of Athens. Thank you to all those who continue to build the bonds between our communities. I want to recognize Ms. Eleni Vidalis and her family who are with us and who do so much for the city. Vasilis Kafkas, George Panagiotopoulos, Costa Sideridis, Dimitri Vidalis, Kostas Geroukas, George Danis, Philippos Fortomas, who is president of Interparty Parliament, Andreas Nikolopoulos, and all of those leaders that we are celebrating here in our local community. I also want to recognize our city clerk, of course, Alex Jerntas, who's been a longtime friend and keeps everything running in the city of Boston. I know, we have to keep this short, otherwise the city will start to fall apart when he's here. And of course, thank you so much to Athens Mayor Haris Doukas and Ms. Georgia Politano. Thank you so much for your visit and for being with us through this weekend in this very special celebration. To Professor Panagiotis Peter Kontis, President of Develop Athens, Nicholas Kalyanidis of International Cooperation and Public Relations, and Adriana Magana, head of the press office. Thank you for making this journey and welcome to our city. I hope you consider this another home here in Boston. We are very proud that for almost all of our 400-year history, Boston has been known as the Athens of America. And no matter what New York or other places might say, this is the real Athens of America. Athens is renowned over the course of history as being a pioneer and champion for the arts, for culture, for education, for so much more about what underpins Western civilization. And here in Boston, we are proud to have taken up that mantle in our own way as well. Home of America's first public school, first public park, first public library. Whereas Athens is the world's birthplace of democracy, Boston is America's cradle of liberty. Last week, we celebrated the 250th anniversary of Paul Revere's Midnight Ride, right here, very close to this building from the North End, to start the course of the American Revolution. A few days later, we presented wreaths to the winners of the Boston Marathon, wreaths made from olive branches cut in the town of Marathon, Greece, the legendary starting place of the run that inspired it all, and that, of course, ended in Athens. The parallels between our cities aren't limited to our history. We are proud today and for a very long time to be home to a thriving Greek community, a community that we will celebrate alongside this Sunday as we do every year. In our own ways, both of our cities have laid the cultural and political foundations for our countries, and we continue to be examples for the rest of the world. From theater and architecture, arts and education, to innovation and civic engagement. And so today, we in Boston work every day and are proud to continue setting the example for what it looks like for our country to work with others around the world rather than against them, by deepening our ties to a city that has been and continues to be a great friend and inspiration to Boston. So I was proud to present Mayor Doukas with an official City of Boston Revere Bowl, celebrating our city's history in this country, and also a symbol of our friendship and intertwined roots for democracy. The inscription on the bowl reads, "To the people of Athens, Greece, presented to Mayor Doukas in celebration of our shared democratic values, our enduring friendship, and our ongoing love of learning between both of our cities." And today I'm also proud to join the mayor in signing an official letter that will codify and deepen the ties between our two cities and promote long-term collaboration across business, arts, research, innovation, higher education, and tourism. Thank you so much for being with us here today for this momentous occasion, and I'd like to pass the microphone over to Mayor Doukas.
It's a real honor to be here today, and it feels like home because, as you said, Mayor, indeed Boston is Athens of US, because we have many Greek colleagues here that are trying hard many years now to preserve our culture, and also because we are formalizing a very important relationship with this agreement, this letter of intent, and it's not just a letter saying, let's be friends, but it's far beyond that because we are having common values of democracy, of progressive ideas, and of course we are also mega cities that have strong inequalities, and we need to fight for equity, for just cities, and also because you are having many important universities. I had the opportunity to visit them yesterday to have also a public speech. In Athens, we are also having important universities, and we would like to foster also academic cooperation and building strong collaboration partnerships with institutions, with academics, with businesses, and with citizens. We have many common ideas how we should support all these issues related also with climate policy. The first time I met the mayor of Boston was at Vatican with the Pope, and it's really important. We were then signing an agreement about the resiliency of cities, and then we had speeches how we vision our future with more renewables, with energy democracy, with climate justice, with resiliency, and it's important that after a few months we are here fostering the vision of Pope and progressing these ideas about equity, justice, and democracy, and of course fighting climate change. So I'm really glad to be here today. I would like to thank again also the Greek colleagues, and of course Vitaly, and the very strong partnership that we have already established, and we are really glad that we have also on Sunday our parade, and I'm really honored to participate also with our parliamentists that are also here with us, and I'm looking forward to further strong partnership cooperation activities, win-win opportunities. Thank you very much.
And now for the moment we've been waiting for. The LOI will be signed in both languages, in English and in Greek. And each party will keep one of the documents with them.
So we'll start.
We'll start with the on the left.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much. And then we can exchange. Thank you so much. The mayor of Boston has many friends in Athens, and they think that your fight is very important and your actions are very important, and I would like to have two open questions for you. The first one is that throughout your service as a city councillor and later as a mayor of Boston, you have broken numerous barriers. First of all, you were the first women of Asia elected to the Boston City Council, the first woman where you gave birth while in office, and then the expansion of the parental leave to 6 weeks, really important, and congratulations for that. Additionally, you became only the second woman in the city's 160 years history to hold the office of mayor. And these are important barriers that you overcome. So the question is, how are you able to overcome all these challenges, especially given that many of these issues remain contentious in American public discourse? How did you manage to have all these barriers encountered?
Well, first, I can't describe how much of an honor it is to welcome you and to even have Boston in the same conversation as Athens. As someone who grew up studying the classics as a young child, I spent many, many years of my life trying to understand. I studied Latin and we all the culture absorbed through Athens and through Rome. So it's just in some ways a little bit of a dream moment to be signing this alongside you. I think in this moment in politics, and I'm curious what you would say too, it's easy to know what people want you to say, right? You can do polling, you can always try to say one thing here and say one thing there, but at the end of the day, what we all need is, most of all, the truth. I think in some ways that is what our responsibility to our citizens is based on, even when it is hard, telling the truth. And for me, that has come from being a mom. Even before I had my kids, my mom had gone through some struggles with mental health, and so I ended up raising my sisters and taking care of my mom. And when you're going through so much challenge in your family, when you're raising kids, when you have to manage a family, sometimes you want to do what sounds like it's going to, the kids want to have candy, they want to watch TV, this and that. And at the same time, you want to create a joyful, happy household, but that involves everybody working together and having a clear understanding of what we need to do to make sure we're all moving forward. And in this moment, it can be hard to speak up and it can be hard to speak the truth, but Boston is a city that for 400 years has always been known to stand up for what's right and to do what will help advance the common good for generations to come. So as a mom, I see that as my responsibility to my kids and to all of our kids.
Very good. Thank you for that. And impressive to hear that what you are doing for your family, you are doing for Boston, that you consider family.
Yes.
So this is really critical, and it's very important also that you have this idea of working with people, with young people, and fighting for progressive ideas. And then my other question is, how did you promote this idea of having this formal declaration of intent with the city of Athens, I mean Boston and Athens, because many say that, okay, it's another signature. And I also like that you said we should not have one more sister project idea, but we should do something more. So what's your thought on that? Because very important.
Similarly, I think in many ways my job is to follow the lead of our community members. And Bostonians are very opinionated. They are very strong-willed, and you can't get away with just saying some words and not taking action in Boston. People are paying attention, and it is the best part of the job to be able to get that feedback in real time everywhere. And so we know that members of our community, especially now when there's so much struggle in the world, want to see real benefits, want to see real action. We have had a sister city program that has been very important for the history that occurred over previous decades. I also want to recognize Kathy Kotovides, by the way, who is the director of Boston's historic preservation efforts. But from a historical perspective, we know that it's important to celebrate, but also to evolve. And these days, we want to really outline the exact points that will happen because of this signature. Not just a piece of paper and picture, but a real partnership and a real ongoing dialogue and commitment to continue the working relationship and to continue the exchange and learning.
Thank you very much. It's really important that it's my first formal declaration of intent with Boston. So I'm running the house for 1 year and some months.
Yes.
And it's been a great privilege to be here and to have this discussion. And when I'm in public speeches, they always ask me, Mr. Doukas, 1 year and 3 months, what is your most important accomplishment? All the time. So what's your most important accomplishment? Let's say, I think that what is critical is this transformation of Athens for becoming a sustainable city. So we had also this discussion about planting of trees, and we succeed to have 5,000 trees planted, a microforest, some linear parks. So we are trying to change, let's say, to decrease air pollution, to increase oxygen, and to decrease the feeling temperature. So, and then kindergartens and parks, things like that are the things that this first 1 year and 3 months the most important accomplishment. But we work hard, it's a formal year.
That's right, that's right. Well, I'm at 3 years and 4 months now, and in many ways, cities' big accomplishments can't happen overnight or even in 1 year or 3 years. But I'm really proud, I would say, okay, so I'm going to give a politician answer, which is not one thing, but a couple different things I want to mention. The biggest thing is, in some ways, we've set a vision for our city that is clear, that involves every single person in our community, and we've really built a solid foundation to, in some ways, we had to slow down to move faster, to get it right, to build the infrastructure so that it's not just for the picture and then disappears, but it will continue and be deeply rooted in community. I think the accomplishment that we are known nationally for right now over the last 3+ years is Boston is now the safest major city in the country.
The safest?
The safest. Our rates of, we've really tackled gun violence, we've tackled efforts around all issues of public safety with a dedicated focus, and not only are our numbers the lowest of any major city, but they're the lowest in 70 years in Boston's history. And it's the great work of our police department and public safety. However, the lowest levels of gun violence ever in Boston's history are the same time as the highest levels of paid youth summer jobs, universal early education and pre-kindergarten, investments in our parks, affordable housing creation. So it's all about making this city one of belonging. My favorite thing that we've done over the last 3+ years is a program that, for the first time ever now, every child growing up in Boston can go to the museums in the city for free on certain days. And we live in a city, as you said, with inequality across many cities. And here we have some of the best resources in the world. And yet many families growing up in Boston had never been to the aquarium or other places because the ticket prices were expensive. So now our commitment, especially for me as a mom, it's meaningful, If you want your child to be able to have advanced math classes, to play sports, to be involved in the arts, to go to museums for free, all you have to do is grow up in Boston. And that is the guarantee.
Amazing. And what did the logistics say about that? Because
Complicated, yes. So many about the museums. The museums were going through a very hard time with COVID and the ticket, because tickets, so fewer people could come and everybody was nervous about crowds. They've been recovering. And so we ran a little bit of what we call a pilot or an experiment. A small number of museums, only for Boston Public Schools, demo, where we measured how many students went, where they went, and how often they went. So the goal was, students can go for free the first and second Sunday of the month and bring their family members for free as well. What we saw is that we measured, and 40% of students, 40% plus, said they went for the very first time to these institutions, even though they grew up here.
40%, 40.
Yes, so the museums learned that it wasn't the same customer, same visitors now going for free instead of paying, but they were reaching totally new families who could not afford to be there before. So now we partnered and we provide some support, financial support for the museums that participate, and they are able to measure, and it's really benefited their mission too.
Fantastic. It's really important. Very, very good idea that we could also promote in Athens with our parliaments, because, in Greece, in Athens, we don't have the, we can decide and propose something to the government. We cannot say that we can, this is a very good proposal, especially for the poorest people and for children, to have 0 tickets, I think.
Yeah. We administer it all through the schools, because otherwise, if you just have tickets, the families who need them don't know how to get them, or maybe don't hear about it. But every student gets an email that has their code, and it reminds them every week, this is a week, if you just go and show them the email, you go in for free.
It's a very good idea. And what also saw that it was very interesting, you have a social stability office, something like that, for social housing. So this is also very critical, because you are running very important projects for social housing. So I would also take some ideas, hope to implement them in Athens. Thank you so much for this insightful discussion. Thank you so much.
Needless to say,
One more here. Thank you. Our city hall is maybe only 50 years old, but we have some history that dates a little further back. Would you open this? Last Friday was 250 years anniversary of Paul Revere's Midnight Ride to start the American Revolution and build this country. And as you may know, he, in his day-to-day life, was a silversmith. And this is the bowl, the type of bowl that he designed. This is our official Revere bowl.
Thank you very much.
It's great.